Hello, everyone. Yours truly, Jimmy Williams, again, back with another great and informative video. And today we have an awesome broadcast. Okay, I haven't been on in about a week. As you can see, I've been a little busy doing some other things since you guys knew my story the last time I told you I got hacked with my phone and with TikTok, and it put me down for like 2 months. Okay, but I'm back now, and I have some fresh, awesome content coming your way. Today, I'm going to be interviewing an amazing businesswoman, and she's a friend of mine, and she has a product and a service that's bar none one of the best I've seen. Okay, I'm going to introduce her in a moment when she comes on, but we're basically she's coming on our show to give us valuable information on how to protect your assets. So, you guys hear me talking about millionaires and billionaires and average people or business people who have companies, or they're a movie star or they're successful, and no matter what they're doing, they're trying to protect their assets from lawsuits, from sometimes family members, the IRS, the government, etc., etc. It seems like whenever you become successful, people want a piece of you. They want a part of you. And what you have to do is you have to find a way to protect yourself from whatever may come your way, okay? Because it's really, really sad to see that when you become successful, everybody wants a piece of something. But the guest I'm bringing on today, she does asset protection trust. She's one of the best in the industry. She has over 15 years of doing it. I think a little bit more than that. I'm looking at her bio here. I'm going to read it shortly. But she's been doing this for a long time. And I think she's going to be a tremendous asset to our group, to our team. All right. I'm going to invite her on in a few minutes, but let me just say hello to a few people. Hi there, Tracy. How you doing? John, how you doing? Mitchell, hello. MD, hi. Let me just see if I can get in here. Hold on. Let's see if this, Hammer, how you doing? Florence, hello. Let's see, Robin Tucker, how you doing? Miss Mac, how you doing? I can't really look at all the messages right now, but let me see if I can tap into it. Hold on. Debbie, Antonio, how you doing? Joseph Williams, Baptiste, how you doing? Mr. Wright, aka something. Antoinette, how you doing? Vero, hello. Who else is in here? Let's see. Mama Maid, Willie, how you doing? Jinean Florom, I see you. So Jinean, that's my guest. Jinean, I'm going to ask you to join. Hold on. Let me see if I can get you to join. Hold on. Thanks for joining in. Guys, where's Jinean? Okay, let me invite her. All right, Jinean, I'm going to invite you right now. Did you get that invite? All right. So yes, guys, she's coming on in a moment, but she's an amazing businesswoman. I'm going to read her bio in just a moment here, and I'll give you guys some time to come in. And I wish we had done this at 10 o'clock at night or early in the morning, because the majority of the people that are on TikTok, you guys are you're busy doing something in the daytime, and it's not a good time for you, right? But we're gonna roll with what we have. Jinean, can you hear me?
I can.
Awesome. Your voice sounds good.
Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely. Let's see. Let's turn everything up a little bit. And guys, if you're listening, put it in the chat if you can hear her really good. Can you hear me good? Again?
I can hear you, yes.
Awesome. Hi, your voice sounds clear. I was just kind of gassing everybody up about you, and telling everybody that you're an amazing businesswoman. I didn't read your bio yet, but I was looking it over in just a moment. I'm like, man, you are special, man. You've been doing this a long time, huh?
I have been, yes, sir. Uh-huh. I enjoy the work. I enjoy the people.
I can tell. Well, before we go right into the interview and start asking a few questions and have you educate us, I just want to set a couple of ground rules for everyone. So I see that I got like 35 messages from you guys. I'm not going to be able to answer those right now because, number one, with TikTok, it's hard to see them when you're on your phone. And number two, I don't want to break the flow of what Miss Jinean Florom is going to be talking about. So if you can, please, sit down and write everything out. Have a pen and a piece of paper beside you. And if you have questions after, we'll talk about it. But we're on a time constraint here because I got to go to another meeting in like 40 minutes, unless I have some kind of delay. But Jinean has all day. Okay, so we may have to bring her on a second time. But let me go ahead and read this awesome bio, okay? Her name is Jinean Florom. Did I say that correctly, Miss Florom?
Yes.
Awesome. She's a trust consultant, asset guardian, and a occasional slayer of legal nonsense. Okay, I'll let her tell you what that means. With a pen sharper than, this is her words now, with a pen sharper than most attorneys' tongues, that's powerful, and a spreadsheet more organized than your average law firm, Jinean is a powerhouse in the world of irrevocable trust, which I keep telling you guys about. Irrevocable trust is the way to go. Estate planning and asset protection. She specializes in navigating the fine print, which is very important, structuring airtight trusts, and making sure that the assets are protected from lawsuits, probate, and that one cousin who suddenly, I told you about this, that one cousin who suddenly gets very interested in family affairs when someone dies. So in other words, you don't hear from them while the person that they so-called love is alive, but whenever they die, oh gosh, where's my piece of the pie? Where's my land? Where's my car? Where's my $1 million? Right. Jinean is a certified cyber crimes investigator. Yeah, the marbles out there. And legal consultant with experience in grand jury indictments, financial fraud, multi-million dollar scams. You guys see them everywhere. Exposing them, not running them. Let's be clear, exposing them. All right. She's worked cases with cases that make Netflix documentary series, make those documentaries look like they're bedtime stories. So she's very skilled in what she does. All right. A little bit more here. When she's not building trust framework that could survive a zombie apocalypse or worse, a family dispute, which is very hard, she moonlights as a fraud-fighting digital crusader. So she's online looking for fraudsters online. Metaphysical guide and occasional emotional support, human for clients navigating through storms of betrayal, loss, and just bad estate planning. If you need some, now, guys, listen to this. Now, this is what I love about her. If you need someone to secure your legacy, protect your assets, maybe from your ex-business partners or ex-husbands or wives, okay, with a perfectly worded affidavit, she's your girl or your gal or your woman. These are her words, okay? Did I miss anything?
No, you're good. I love you. Yes.
I love you too. Yeah. Sometimes when I'm reading these, I need a little more time to ad-lib it. So,
well,
Yeah. I basically came to her like 10 minutes ago, literally, and said, "I need a bio." I should have got it last week because I would have better prepared. Because listen, you have your resume, taller than Mount Rushmore, and it's like I'm, So sorry if I messed that up. But let's get into this, okay?
You're fine.
Let me say hello to a few more people here. Hang on. I got like 92 messages. Guys, what are you guys saying? Woo. Oh my gosh. Okay, Sammy, thanks for joining. Wi-Fi, how you doing? Brazil, how you doing? Beautification, how you doing? I don't have time to say hello to everyone, but I gotta let the woman of the hour come on and educate us, okay? So let me get started by saying to you, thank you for taking the time. I value your time. And the first question I'm gonna ask you is,
yes,
when it comes to protecting assets, what is the best trust to get? I know there's several trusts, and we'll start there.
Oh my goodness gracious. That's a loaded question.
Okay, take your time.
Yeah, so you know what is really scary in this new world that we're living in is the fact that there are so many trusts that are coming out that really are not straightforward. They say that they do one thing, and when you get into the fine print, when I've gotten into the fine print, I see, oh my goodness, there's a lot that's missing here. A straightforward, just, off the cuff answer to that question is a beneficial trust. If you're looking just to, preserve your assets, you want a straight up beneficial trust, which is an irrevocable, non-grantor, complex, discretionary spendthrift trust. And, that one is always, no matter what, whether you have a business trust, a real estate trust, or a charitable trust, or anything like that, is always going to be the foundational, the foundation of your trust series. If you're in business or you want to do some, philanthropy work or things like that. So, your beneficial trust is going to be your best beginning.
Okay, so beneficial trust is the best one to get. Okay, now,
Yeah.
so you say that. So you're saying someone can get a trust, and the person who actually put the trust together can leave information out that could have protected them. They don't know about it. Is that right?
Well, that's a rough question because listen, there's a lot of templates out there. I just talked to a guy, just to give you an idea. I talked to a guy in California yesterday. He came to me twice, wanted to talk about trust, and he built himself an irrevocable trust. And
Okay.
he was the grantor, and he is having some problems. And so we talked about those problems and what he simply did not understand because he wanted to save money. And he went on to Scribe and he downloaded, like, he told me this, he downloaded like 7, 8, 9, 10 different kinds of trusts and put everything together and created himself a trust, went to IRS and formed the trust. But the one thing that he didn't do was that he didn't realize that there are two different types of trust. There are non-grantor trusts and grantor trusts.
Okay.
And the grantor trusts have to be registered just like an LLC, S corp, C corp, LLP, PLLC, just with the state corporations division.
Oh, wow.
So, is there tax liability there? Absolutely, because statutory trusts are a lot different than contract law trusts.
I see.
And
Gotcha.
so non-grantor trusts work that way. And when I started bringing all of this up, he got really nervous about everything. So I don't ever recommend anybody to. And if you do build your own trust and you want to have a lawyer look it over, I think you should do that because you can't make any presumptions on the templates that you can buy for $1,595 online that's going to protect your assets. There's a proper procedure for everything. And, there's certain clauses within the irrevocable non-grantor complex discretionary spendthrift trust that have to be present.
I got you.
And, you just I'll give you another example. So I have a client who's going through a divorce right now.
Okay.
And about 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago, this person, his wife, and they decided to build an irrevocable trust. And
Gotcha.
well, it ended up being a nightmare. And so I had to write a report on it. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because they're in a divorce now. And it was set up to completely remove assets from him. And he didn't know until I pointed them out to him and his lawyer. And he and his lawyer were very grateful that I wrote that report because, whether we like it or not, consultants can be very good for you in business because, oh my goodness gracious, sometimes we can see things that even lawyers don't want to look at
I got you. Okay.
or read.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, let me say
So
this.
I know that's a long end of it, but that's about where I go with it.
No, well, I just want to tell the people that's watching. Everything she's saying is these are not made up stories. This is the truth. This is what she's experienced with clients. And so at the end, guys, again, well, if you can't stay, because some of you are working, I know how this works in the daytime. Just type in the comments you're interested in more information, and then my team will get back with you and do a call with you to see if you'll be a good candidate for her product. But if you're concerned about anything we're talking about here, Jinean has a team of professionals that she works with, a team of attorneys, and they will make sure that you don't get shafted when it's all over. Because unfortunately, there's so many people trying to do what you're doing, and they're trying to make a quick buck without proper explanation, without proper information. Explaining to the client what they're getting into, and $10,000, $20,000 later, $30,000, they got a big lawsuit, and somebody's coming to take their assets. So you're saying, so you're saying that everything that's going on with your clients before they came to you, were you able to fix those problems? Because that's
yeah.
My audience wants to know that they can come to you, and because my primary audience is mostly real estate investors and people that have assets, financial gurus, or people that have other businesses. and they don't know how to protect their assets. So I guess that's the question I want to ask you. If they come to you, are they going to be safe? Are they
They
going to be good?
they yes, and if they're not, I will tell them that, because
Okay.
I'm a person of full transparency. So as long as you're transparent with
You faded
me,
out. You faded out. Say that again.
as long as you're transparent with me
Okay.
about what's going on, I will always evaluate the situation that you're in
Okay.
and guide you that's in your highest and best good, always.
Okay. You guys hear that? She's saying, so, and I like how you do business. We here with JW Acquisitions in Atlanta. We like to under promise, over deliver. So if we think we can do something, we won't necessarily tell the client we're going to guarantee it. We'll say this is what you can expect, and we try to shoot higher. But we have to have proper information to be able to help that client. They got to tell us everything. If I'm fixing their credit, they got to tell me they got to, they got an outstanding bill on there that's been there for several years that they can't remove, or a bankruptcy, or they have something on it, and if they don't tell us that and we try to fix the credit, we can't get it off, then that's not my fault. You didn't tell me. So what she's saying is, guys, when you come to her, you got to make sure you tell her everything that's going on. Let me ask you this, because everybody keeps raving about the irrevocable trust. What's the difference between that and let's say a business trust? What's the major difference? Or are they the same thing or similar?
Well, no, they're not. They're two completely different types of trust, and they serve two completely different areas of your life. So let's say you have a bunch of LLCs, okay, just for the sake of
Okay.
argument.
That would be me and my wife. We have 8
Yeah.
of them. So you need. Okay.
So if you have active income in an LLC and you're desiring to rid yourself of the LLCs because of the Corporate Transparency Act, which is still in effect. I will get into that in a minute if you want to, but let's just talk about that for a minute. And you're thinking that you'd like to consolidate everything into a business trust. Anytime you have active income is when you want to use a business trust. Active income versus passive income. Beneficial trusts are more along the lines of passive income. Business trusts are along the lines of active income, and it can be just any kind of active income in an LLC. I understand. You have a group of people that are in real estate, and there's another type of trust that's really good for real estate investors also. And in a syndication type is real estate trust.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so and that's where you can have lots of partners. In a real estate trust, in a type of syndication, like if you've got a bunch of investors, a business trust is where you have active income, let's say from your LLCs, from your own rental properties that your LLCs own, things like that. So yeah, there's a difference in the way that the operations of those types of trusts.
That's good. That's good. Let's say I have a property that I own, and I still have some. Let's say it's $1 million property, right? Mm-hmm. And I still owe $200,000 on it.
Mm-hmm.
Making the. Can I put property in a trust that I haven't paid off fully?
Yes.
Or no?
Now and so again, let's talk about that. Do you own it personally, or does your LLC own it? There's a difference.
Absolutely, yeah. So me personally, and I teach this. But I always say this: the wealthy own everything, but nothing's in their name. So I live by all my property, whatever I have, is in my LLC's name.
Yeah.
So and the people that's watching, most of them, they haven't done this, they don't know this, but most of the business folks I deal with, it's in their LLC's name. So give me the scenario for both.
So if you have a piece of real estate and you've got $1 million property with a $200 note on it, you can absolutely, without having a due on sale clause by the bank, should you do a transfer, you can sell that real estate to your beneficial trust and have your trust pay the mortgage and all of the expenses with that property. Now, if it's in an LLC and it's an active income, it goes. That's something that you would want to put in your business trust because it's active. Yeah, because it's in an LLC. Now, let's say that you bought your house that you live in an LLC, but you're personally paying the mortgage on it, but you have it in an LLC. Well, you can move that into the trust. If you're living there, you could actually move your you could actually sell that piece of real estate. It would be a couple of deed transfers, but you could do it. It's possible. It would take a little bit longer, but it's very possible to do that. Same would apply with the mortgage. You just start paying the mortgage from the trust.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Guys, I hope you're taking notes. She's giving us a lot of information. She's really good at what she does. I'm going to jump around though for a second. We'll come back to real estate. I have a sizable investment in crypto as well. Okay, so
Yes.
I have. So let me just say this. So I won't be able to capitalize or cash out on my Bitcoin till like 2030, 2032. And it's going to be worth between $5 and $10 million. Based on the projections with Bitcoin. So let's say when I want to withdraw that out of my account, I withdraw it. If it's decentralized, I got to, you know how that works. You got to put it in a wallet, then you got to transfer it to a bank. Can we set up a trust for crypto? Because because of the rules now, I'm not sure if you heard on the news as of late, but Donald Trump did tweet. This law just came out saying that he's allowing the IRS. He's basically saying he's given permission. Well, how do I say this? I want to make sure I'm saying this right. He's blocking the IRS from going in and messing with the crypto space. Basically, you can withdraw the money without having to pay all these taxes. And I think that's going to be. I'm not sure how long that's going to last. But is there a trust that you can? Is there trust that we can get to protect us when we withdraw those funds, or we just going to pay taxes on it?
Jimmy, one of the most confusing things about the investigation when people are going down rabbit holes is to think that you have to have separate trusts for all of your assets, and that's not the truth.
Okay, good.
So to answer your question, yeah. So if you have a stand-up, straight up beneficial trust, and you have assets in gold, silver, crypto, exchange currencies, things like that, you can you can sell everything into the trust for what the value was that you purchased it at, so that when you do get time to cash it out, you don't create a taxable event.
That's what I wanted to hear. Guys, I hope you got this. This is recorded, so when we download this, I want to make sure you guys get a copy of it. I got to stop and just say, Jinean, bravo. I've been talking to several people about this stuff, but no one can articulate it the way you are. I don't know why people are gatekeeping. They won't tell this stuff, and I think, I do believe the rich and successful and the wealthy, they do keep certain secrets. They don't want everybody to know, but I don't know what's all the gatekeeping. We're just trying to save money. We want to keep the money that you make. If you're working a job and you're making $12 an hour, and you don't want to, they make you pay taxes. And by the time you pay taxes, you get left with, it's like working $8 an hour, right? Well, just because the person is wealthy doesn't mean that they should have their money taken too. Now, listen, whether everybody's doing it the right way or the wrong way, that's up for debate, right? But what I'm saying is everybody has a chance, should have the opportunity to hold on to the money that they make.
Absolutely.
That's right?
Absolutely.
And I think this is laws that the average person doesn't know, about trust that you're explaining. And I appreciate you coming on the platform. You've gotten further than anybody else I've ever talked to. Listen, I'm really enjoying this, all right? Guys, listen.
Thank you.
Are you? Here's what I want you guys to do. You're not going to be able to see the comments and all that stuff, but guys, go ahead and comment if you like what you're hearing from Miss Jinean, Miss Florom.
You can call me Miss Jinean. It's all good.
Okay. All right. And what we're going to do is, you guys, if you want more information, if you have a company or a business or you have an investment, you're trying to make sure that you can hold on to what you have and you want more information on how to protect your assets, you say more info, or I'm interested, or something like that in the comments. And I will circle back. I'll have my assistant circle back and reach out to every one of you individually. And then we'll make sure we'll talk to you first before we send you over to Miss Jinean, okay? Now, back to the show, okay? You said you were going to talk a little bit more about, what was it you were going to talk some more about? About
the Corporate Transparency Act?
I'm sorry, yeah, thank you. I say less, I digress. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that, because I think there's a lot of misinformation that's still going out around, the Corporate Transparency Act. There's a lot of YouTube videos saying that it's abolished and, FinCEN is abolished and you don't have to fill out a beneficial ownership information form anymore. to the degree there is some truth in that, but that's also going to be reevaluated in May. And recently, yes, there was an announcement that was made that FinCEN was going to be quashed. But the truth of the matter is, there's a lot of still activities that have to happen in Congress for a lot of these laws to be quashed permanently, so that it doesn't affect, people that own LLCs, S corps, C corps, LLPs, any entity that you have registered with the state. So people need to understand that it's CTA, the Corporate Transparency Act, is law until it is not law, period. And it was put under the Patriot Act, which was put under the Money Laundering Act. And what makes it so dangerous is that if you do get a suspicious activity report put against you, your account still can be frozen, period.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. Wow. If I could tell you in the course of the last 2 years of the stories that have come to us with people getting SAR'd and seeing the monies in the bank and have no access, that they've lost their mortgages, they've lost their cars, they've lost their homes, they've had to put their kids with families. These are true stories of people that I've had to talk with. Please help us get into a trust so that we can, get our lives back. It's not that simple. When you have no money and you can't have access to pay for things and you lose everything. And this was designed to take out the small business owner. And one of the reasons why I'm so adamant about these beneficial trusts is because it helps the meat and potatoes of the community, the people that are the people that are in the community, the mom and pop shops that provide the services for the communities. It's so important for everybody to understand, we're still not out of hot water when it comes to the Corporate Transparency Act. So, that's just how it is. And I will stay on that until it is gone. And it's not gone. And it really irks me, to see all these different kinds of YouTube videos out there that say, oh, the Corporate Transparency Act is all, gone and FinCEN's been quashed. It hasn't yet. The key word is yet. So that means if it's not yet, it's still law until it's not. You know what I'm saying?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And we need the small business owner. The small business owner is the backbone of how the country has grown, right?
Yeah.
Without small businesses, we just now. Man, thanks a lot for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You told me, because I did this already, because I didn't know what was going on with the BOI and all that stuff. So I went ahead and registered mine online. I did all that for all 8 companies. 4 I have here in Georgia, and the other 4 I have a couple in Delaware and some other places, just because I didn't want to get in any trouble. But what I'm saying to you is, you told me now, and you got to let them know this too, because I need your help with the trust, and you couldn't help me right now, right? So I want you to tell them is okay. So let the audience know why you can't help me, and explain to them that they should not do what I did before they come to you for help.
Well,
explain that if you can.
Okay, so the beneficial ownership information form is about a 54-page form that you have to list, everybody that you've done business with, and over the course of the time that your business has been in effect. That means the agent, anybody that helped you, your CPA put it together, formed your LLC, and all of that, anybody that you've done business with. Now, what makes it so dangerous, and yes, it went back and forth towards the end of last year. Yes, we have to do it. No, we don't. Yes, we do. And then there was all kinds of court stuff going on, and it was, yes, you do, you don't. My recent information is that it's going to be relooked at in May, which means it's possible that it could be reinstated, in May. We don't know. These are things we don't know. But if it's going to be reinstated, does that not tell you, or they're going to relook at it, that it's still active, right? So, can you hear me? Okay. Okay. So the bottom line is this. Can you hear me? Okay. Still. Can you hear me okay still?
Yep. Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay, so one of the things that we need to remember is that in 2023, around October, is when you had a pop-up that probably popped up on your online banking that asked you if this was your social security number, and you're trying to figure out what your balance is so you can buy stuff, right? And this pop-up comes up on your screen. We all go through this. Is this you? Verify it, click yes, and then move on. That was when everybody's social security numbers were attached to their bank accounts. Now stop. I really need you to really stop and think about that. So now we're in this big, huge cloud of all this information where if you get Social Security benefits, food stamps, Medicaid, Medicare, veterans benefits, and all these other things, if you just kind of look up and you see this half moon of all these services, and you've got an LLC that you have allegedly separate in its own tax ID number, as of then, your social security number got attached to all of your LLCs, whether you like it or not. It happened.
Wow.
So that means that every bit of your information personally, this is why the Corporate Transparency Act is so dangerous. Your privacy has been violated. So when you take a look at the whole picture and you're looking at it from the 30,000 view, when you think about that in it of itself, and then you say, oh, FinCEN has been quashed when it really hasn't. The BOI may be reinstated in May. It's going to be relooked at, and the Corporate Transparency Act is still active. What is that saying about where things really are when it comes to the small business owner and even the medium business owner and their private information? Okay? The dangers of that is what if you've got 3 or 4 kids and you're needing food stamps or you're needing other things, and you're not offsetting anything and you're doing everything right? Then what?
Right.
Why is that information even necessary? You see?
That is awesome.
That's why it's so dangerous. The LLCs at one point in time and S Corps had its own tax ID number, which offered a little bit of anonymity, but it doesn't do that anymore. That's the whole thing behind the Corporate Transparency Act.
See, I didn't know that because
Yeah.
So you're saying my 8 companies that I have, they all have LLCs, all have EIN numbers, and that's how I was able to get business funding, and that's great funding back in 2020, and I was able to grow my company. And in 2020 we went from making $19,000 a year. My wife and I, we made $500,000 in 2020 because we were able to get the funding based on the EIN numbers. And we was able to scale our business and get like $150,000. But that allowed us to hire employees and do other things, and our advertising, marketing, and all that. And our companies grew. But but if you're saying that's being jeopardized now, that's a problem.
Yeah,
right?
It was jeopardized when they announced in 2023, around August, September of 2023, when they announced that the Corporate Transparency Act was going to be in effect as of January of 2024. You had until the end of 2024 to fill out a BOI, which is a beneficial ownership information form.
Right.
All right.
That's what I mean. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so if you didn't do that, then you're going to be risking a $500 per day fine. That's the fear mongering that came in. And everybody's going, oh my God, if I don't fill this out, this is what. Well, then they abolished that because there's this incredibly dynamic law firm that's in Texas that's still fighting this. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And because it's still out there. And so they got these laws passed on a federal injunction across the United States of America to stop this nonsense of having to fill out a BOI because everybody's rights at that point in time were violated. That's not why the laws were set up in small business with LLCs, S Corps, C Corps, with a separate tax ID number to attach a social security number so that the smaller businesses could be attacked and moved out of the way, out of the convenience of whatever it is that they feel that the convenience is. Our small businesses were gravely affected in 2024 over this. Hundreds of thousands. I'm going to give everybody an example. I want all of you to go to Google and do your own Google search. This is no kidding. Go do your own Google search and go type in suspicious activity reports for 2019. How many suspicious activity reports were filed in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. And you go do the math. It's in the millions. It goes from like the tens of thousands to the millions by the end of 2023. What does that mean? That means that the suspicious activity reports that were filed were all against someone's social security number that was in an LLC that got a suspicious activity report filed against them. And their accounts got frozen. When you go do that own research, it will blow your mind just to let you know how serious this is still.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh,
and
my
that's why
goodness.
these beneficial trusts are so good, because it helps that person who got affected by that situation to put them in a better position so that they can still stay in business and continue the work that they do in their communities where their families are, you see.
All praises to the Most High that somebody stayed in the fight. You know what I mean? And just didn't give up.
Absolutely.
So guys, if you're just tuning in, my good friend and very professional businesswoman, Miss Jinean Florom, she is a trusted, I was going to say trusted. She is trusted, but she's a trust consultant, asset guardian, and occasional slayer of legal nonsense, all right? Long story short, she's really good at helping you protect your assets, all right? She's been doing this a long, long time, and she loves to take down bullies, okay? And, you know, there's all kind of bullies in the financial world, but the biggest ones are when you have something that you built, you work for real estate or a company, you know what I mean? Or, you know, you worked hard to acquire something great, right? A brand or something, and you don't know how to protect it. She knows how to do that, right? She has all types of trust that she can create for you, but she needs to know your particular situation. And for what I'm getting from her is everybody's situation is uniquely different.
Yes.
Like, I'm in real estate and I do finance and I'm in crypto and all that. So I'm a different type of guy, right? And then you have somebody that has, you know, a farm business. You know, they're growing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And they have all this land, and they're in the fight with the city or something, and the city's trying to take it. Let's be honest, just because the government and the city got certain laws doesn't mean they always do it the right way. But if you don't have, you know, I'm not anti-government and all that. I'm not going to say that, but I'm just saying, you know, certain systems, they don't just do business the right way. So we have to find a way to counterattack or be. I always tell my students this: always be on the offense, never be on the defense. You need to be ahead of the game. Like if you have $1 million in the bank and you work hard for it, you need to find a way right now. Don't wait for the government to come in. You need to find a way to protect that wealth. This one guy, I'm not sure if you heard about this. This guy, he's a very. If I say his name, you know who he is. But he's a famous track star from Jamaica. So I probably gave it away with that. Somebody went to his account and took out, I think it was $12 million.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. You guys know what this is. I just don't want to take it there. I'm just saying. And he had to go and fight. And I don't think he got the money back. It just disappeared. He won so many gold medals, very famous guy, but his bank could not protect him. You know what I mean? So it's like, man, you know, and he didn't have any trust, nothing in place. He had nothing in place. So, you know, there's a lot of other stories I've been hearing, even in the realm that I'm in with real estate, because I'm around guys that buy multifamily properties. We buy, you know, buildings in downtown big cities, portfolios. That's when you buy 100 different properties. You know, you have cash flow coming in from, but anything can go wrong. Anything can go wrong. You know what I mean? On a closing or something like that. And someone like you they're very rare to find. People, you know, you just can't pick up the phone and find somebody you can trust. You can go to attorneys if you want to, but you just can't pick up the phone and find somebody you can trust. You can go to attorneys if you want to, but I think some of those people are overcharging and they don't give you enough information. So, guys, type in the chat if you are a business owner, if you have, you know, any kind of assets that you want to protect, all right? Business owner, entrepreneur/entrepreneur, real estate investor. You have some property, but you know that property's in limbo because you did something wrong when you signed the contract or when you bought the property. She's the person that can help us. So say, hey, listen, more info, all right? If I get 100 people to do that, then I'm going to release a free course that talks about how to buy real estate with no money down. I have a course I've been wanting to put out, but if I get enough people to say that in the comments, so we can, you know, find other ways to help you, I will do that. Okay. Because Miss Florom, you're phenomenal. You're amazing. I said I'd be done at 2:45, but I'm gonna move some things around. I want 15 more minutes of your time. Is that okay?
Oh, well, absolutely. I'm here for you and
I
your
value your
group of
time.
people,
Okay.
whatever I can do. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody knows I value time even more than money. Time is something you cannot get back. So I don't want to
Absolutely.
waste your time, and I don't want to waste my time. All right. So I don't want to waste your time. I think what you're giving us is golden.
Well,
So
thank you.
yeah, back to you.
And
So you give us a lot.
I agree with you about education. It's so important.
Oh yeah, yeah. Listen, we perish. The Bible says we perish because of a lack of knowledge. Okay,
Hmm.
you will die financially, spiritually, physically because of something you don't know. If I know there's a tiger outside around the corner, I'm not going out there. I'm gonna stay in my house. I'll stay in the house. It'll save my. But if I ignorantly go out there, and don't know better, I can't beat a tiger. I can try. But why do that if I have the proper information not to go out there? Guys, listen to what the woman is saying. There's certain things going on right now in the government and in certain systems and certain circles where if you don't have, and I love to say this makes sense. In this country, whatever's on paper is law. Like if you can't prove it in a court of law, I'll give you this example. This happened to me a while back. My wife and I bought a property prematurely and we lost that house. We were doing something called lease to own for 3 years. We had put $2,500 a month in that property for almost 3 years. You do the math on it. You're talking over $67,000, right? And they took a portion of a portion of what we pay per month, like $400 a month. They put in an escrow for us for closing costs. So in about 3 years, we had saved up like $10,500. 4 acres of land. This is in Conyers, Georgia. 4 acres of land, 2,500 square foot house, nice trees around it, beautiful. We get ready to go to closing. My credit score was like 720. I'm telling you all this for a reason, okay? 720 credit score. They had $10,500 of my money waiting to go to closing. All I needed was another 3,000 or 4,000. I could have got, I would have had all the money I need for the down payment. I got sick with COVID. I couldn't work my own business for 4 months. My wife got COVID. So we got behind in our payments. Took me to court. So I owed like 10 grand, but they had 10,500 in escrow. They took me to court, took the property from me, kicked me out of the property, and took my $10,500. It was because I didn't know certain laws. It was too late. That still hurts to this day. I paid like $10,000. I had to put it down $10,000 to get into the property, plus the $2,500 a month. Built my credit up and everything. It's just devastating because you do perish because of what you don't know. I'm just saying that.
Jimmy, I'm going to tell you something. That story, first of all, the courage to tell that story is amazing. And that is such a great example. Lease to option deals are so poisonous and toxic because the person that is doing the deal with you does not have your highest and best good involved, or they would put you on the deed when you gave them the down payment to start with so that you can go and refinance with the bank when stuff like that happens. And if you don't have somebody like a consultant that can come in and look at that paperwork, that is exactly what happens because they already know, they already set it up for failure to start with. And boy, I have seen so many of those horrible lease option. Oh, they're just awful. And if you don't know what you're doing, I'm so sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah, this person named Meg says, I'm one away from 119,000. Whatever. What do you mean by that, Meg? I'm sorry. Elaborate on that. But back to you. But see, had I known you, that would have never happened. Or someone that with your expertise, I would have known better. I wasn't thinking. I was desperate because my credit score at the time was like, when I first got it, was like 640. Because when you buy homes, the lower your credit score is, because I'm in the industry of real estate, I understand this, and with mortgages, you grade your score 100 points. You're talking the difference of $100,000 or $200,000 on a 30-year mortgage. That's what you're looking at. So you get a property. Oh, you can get this property for 620. What they're not telling you is the rate is just a little bit higher. So the property that's worth 300,000, you pay 500,000 for it. What dummy would do that?
Exactly.
And so they got me because I was a little desperate and I wanted to get home. And my wife and I were, we were gung ho. Listen, the property It's now worth about 400,000. When we got it, it was worth 280. That was like 4 years ago. Well, no, 5 years ago, right? So when we got it, we picked it up for 280 grand. That's what when we got close to buying it, that's what we were going to pick it up. So we got desperate. We saw an opportunity, but we didn't have wisdom. You can't be hasty to buy stuff, and especially somebody like yourself to kind of say, Jimmy, that's a bad idea. But back to you. I'm sorry.
But you know something, Jimmy. At the same time, let's play a game. Let's knock that around for a minute. So you came to me and you say, okay, hey Jimmy, let's talk to the landlord. Let's restructure this a little bit because first of all, you're not on the deed. We need to get you on the deed and get that filed with the county assessor's office. So how about if we restructure it to the point where let's take a look at, okay, so you've got $1,000 down and they're going to put money in escrow from the money. That's fine. Let's get that documented in a contract, but let's get you on the deed so that in 2 years, let's do a 3-year balloon note. So in 3 years, you've got your credit built up. Let's get you into a situation where we've got you postured. You're on the title with the assessor's office and you can go to a bank and refinance. Let's try that and see if that owner will go for that. Now, if that owner did not go for that, he wasn't intending to sell that house in the first place. He wanted it back in the first place. And that way you know what kind of person you're dealing with their ethics and integrity, you see. That's what it boils down to.
But see, you again, when you don't know the verbiage, and I had been in real estate for like 15 years, but lease to option was not my expertise.
Yeah.
It's something I'm learning when I learned this from a millionaire mentor. He said, if it's not something you're perfected, go get the legal, go find someone who knows what they're doing.
Exactly.
Because learning real estate is such a wide thing. Like some people are good at fix and flip, but the minute they go over here and try to do something like buy and hold multifamily property, that's not the same. It's not the same.
Exactly.
Right?
What do you mean I need a property manager?
Right. Exactly. Right. It's sad though. Because, but see, the things that you're good at, it can help a lot of people. You cover a lot. So tell us more about your services, not just with trust, but what else do you do? Because I want people to know all of what you do. Guys, if you're interested, go ahead and type more info. If you want to hear more info about Miss Florom and what she does and how she can help you protect your assets, type info in the chat. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I really am big on helping do fraud investigation and elder abuse. That it happens a lot. I treasure our elderly people, and there are so many out there that get so taken advantage of. And so, and then, I also review documents. If you have a situation where you need some documents reviewed because you don't know what you're doing or you need some help, I do document review. And if you need to have a lawyer, I do a lot of referral business to lots of lawyers across the nation. I have a really good network of people that I work with. And also too, I'm also really good about, one of the things I do is help put lawsuits together. I currently manage a major lawsuit against a guru right now with 459 people in it. And we just got out of interrogatories and we're in discovery. And that's been basically a 10-year trek. But I don't stop there. I really try to be an advocate and a warrior for the underdog, for people that have been taken advantage of financially. That's what my specialty is.
We love you.
Yeah.
You are special. But you are special. So
I love
like
the work. It's there. It has to. There's not very many people out there that can do it. It's a very dark world. Out there in some ways. Yeah.
And I wish I could say it was better, but it's not. I mean, and it's getting darker because people are getting desperate. They want a quick buck. They'd rather take what you have or manipulate you some kind of way instead of just working hard for it, and believing that there's a right way and a wrong way to do business, and just refuse to do it the wrong way. That's all you got to do. No magic trick, right?
No magic trick at all on that. Yeah, and then I'm going to throw a teaser out there. So within the next month, there is going to be I'm working with my web developer, and we're creating a software where people who have fraud and they don't know where to go. where
Really?
you're going to be able to go in and actually file a report and have it printed out, and you can take it to your local authorities to get help.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
and
like
I'm
that.
excited about
I
that.
like
I
that. I
can't
like that.
wait.
Did you
Yeah.
guys listen? If you're listening, type in the chat. I need more guys. I need more engagement. All right. Type in the chat. I'm interested. If you heard what she just heard, she's going to have a system. It's a is it a software? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Or no?
it's an app, and it's going. You'll be able to go in and type in the type of fraud, a
Okay.
very inexpensive way to go in, and it will actually print out a PDF form and tell you exactly where in your zip code to go file the police report and what you need to do to document your situation so that you can
Unreal.
help, get some help from a legal perspective if you can't afford a lawyer. Yeah.
Did you hear the woman? Guys, listen. Stop what you're doing. Okay. If you have anything out there that's going on with your life where you feel like you've been defrauded, some of y'all don't know what to do. You're afraid. You don't want to go to the cops, and you think it's not enough money. If it's $1,000 and it's your money, it's your money. But some people have bigger problems than that. But she's coming up. They're coming out with an app that you can download and file a report and take it to the
Yes.
local authority. This
Yes.
is awesome. I haven't really heard of anything like that. So that's
There's not anything out there. Yeah,
Yes,
I'm really super excited about this.
it's proprietary. It's something different, right?
It
So
is.
yeah. So
Yeah.
guys, hey, type in the chat. I have an issue. I need help or something like that. More info, okay? Because I want to make sure that you guys don't miss out on her. I'm thinking about bringing you back again because we've been on for almost an hour and I haven't asked you half the questions, Miss Jinean, that I
You
want to ask.
just let me know. I'll be there for you.
Yeah, that lets me
Yeah,
know
and
that
if you need to do a later evening or something, just give me a little heads up. I'm welcome to accommodate your followers, however that works for you. Yeah.
really. You guys hear that? Now that's the kind of person I want to keep bringing back. My schedule's pretty tight because I don't really, I did a few times at night at 10 o'clock at night when everybody's available, but it just doesn't work for me a lot because of the things I'm doing here in Atlanta. But I would love to bring you back, and maybe we need to sacrifice one night and do it at 10 o'clock. That'll be 7 o'clock
Whatever
your time.
works for you and whatever your viewers need. If I've got the time available, I'll spend time with you to get
because
any of the messages out there. Sure.
we need the education. We need to know what we're doing, and if somebody's going to build something worth having, they need to know how to protect it, especially if they're following us. We're underserving. I feel like I'm underserving them if I don't give them the right tools and access to the right companies and the right people,
Absolutely.
right sources.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you one other thing here before we go.
Sure.
What was the inspiration behind wanting to be, I would say, a financial activist, so if you will? Financial activist, is that the right terminology? Yeah, in the business world, to protect, to have a heart to help people. Where'd that come from? Where'd that passion come from? That's a big question, but if you could tell me that in 2 minutes, what would you say? Where'd it come from?
When I was in my 20s going to the University of Colorado at Denver,
Okay.
I went to work for law firms, and I was hired by a law firm, a probate real estate attorney.
Gotcha.
And I worked for him for 23 years, and he was just across the street from the downtown University of Colorado at Denver, and I would go there and work. And he saw some talent in me in my 20s that he felt that he could help me with, and he just embraced me like a dad. He was a lawyer, and it was in the 17th Street Mall, and that's how I got my start. And I'm really good about finding things and seeing things. I have an eye for stuff. It's really hard to describe because it's an intuition that I'm gifted with. It's a God-given gift. Mm-hmm. And so when I started noticing, like doing forensic accounting, when I didn't even know what forensic accounting was, and redoing books and helping him in his probate business and doing all that stuff, I learned so much, and I learned how to work with title companies, and it just kind of escalated from there. And I've always been that person that's always fought for the underdog anyway. Even when I was in school and high school and college, I just, I don't like to see people or animals mistreated in any way, because there's always an underlying problem about that.
Yeah, gotcha.
And so it just kind of carried through with me as an adult. And when when I was able to work for the law firms and everybody liked my work, I just kind of stayed working for the law firms and then became an independent subcontractor and built my network. And then when the market crashed back in 2000,
Yeah.
6, 7, 8, 9, I became an asset manager for the banks. And that's where I got a huge amount of experience when it comes to, foreclosures and real estate market and things like that. But I also got to network with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lawyers across the nation during that time. And so I started building my network on that level, on a national level. And then I became a national consultant for people. So that's kind of how I got started. And then I love the national work. I just don't work like in one area. I work on a national level. And if I don't know something, I find somebody that does. So I'm very well connected on that way. If you need a lawyer or a CPA or, a tax attorney or somebody like that, I can help you with that.
Okay. Guys, you heard what she said. You heard what the woman said. And the next time we bring her on, again, I got to figure out how to really see all the comments. But the next time, what I'm going to do is I may invite a few other people on just to ask her questions, more of a Q&A, because there's so much information here. We've been on just about an hour, and I feel like I'm on brain overload, right? Seriously, I'm just like, wow, I've never heard this. And again, I'm around people that are in the real estate industry that talk to attorneys all the time about trust, but no one took the time to break down the different types of trust and what's really going on behind the scenes and what type of trust you need. The things you covered here, I've never heard it. All right,
wow. Well, there you go. And you know what? Those are just straight up, straightforward. That's how you kind of do it in the trust business. It's not elaborated or anything. It's just simple, straightforward trust business,
Yeah, we need specifics. I want to know how to protect certain things. And
Sure.
that's the proper information and the articulation of what we're trying to convey here to the masses. Hey, listen, stay away from the business trust if you don't have, that's what I heard, if you don't have active income. If you have active income, you need a business trust, right? And if you have passive income, that's where the irrevocable trust comes in. Is that right?
Yeah, the beneficial. Yep.
Beneficial trust.
Yeah.
See, I'm learning something. But
you did good.
I did good. And I want everybody listening, I want them to do even better because it's about them. So
yes, absolutely.
So you're saying you had a mentor, and I talk a lot about mentors. So you had a mentor that took you under his wing, began to educate you and share with you and teach you law and certain things, how to help people. And you took it from there, and the passion began to grow, and you took it to another level, right? And that's what I'm hearing. Because you cannot fake as passion.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people doing things, but I'm not sure if they're passionate about what they're doing. You seem seriously. You laughing?
Amen.
Yeah. I would say 90%. I'm not insulting anybody, but I'm just looking at the law of averages. I would say 90% of the people on the planet are trying to make money to support their families, but only 10% are doing what they absolutely love and being successful at it. The other 90%.
Absolutely.
I'm not knocking the 90% because I tried, maybe 75 businesses. I'm 49 years old. I turned 50 next month.
Oh, wow.
Started my first company when I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
55 of them failed, okay? 55 guys, not 25, not 35, not, trying this corporation, trying this over here. And it wasn't until I got in my 40s, back in 2020, when my wife and I started making, like I said, $500,000. We made $1 million between 2020 and 2022. But before that, we were just broke. And what I'm saying is, it takes an extraordinary ability, or I call it stickability.
Stickability, yep.
Yes, it's the word I made up, or tenacity, or fortitude to continue when everything keeps falling and failing.
Yeah.
Most people say, you know what? Forget that. I'll go work here for 30 years and take care of my family. Well, it's noble to take care of your family. My dad did that. He was a construction worker. My grandfather, listen to this. My grandfather had 15 children. I know you're like, man, that's a lot of kids. My grandmother was like, I don't know how she did it. He had 50 acres of land, second grade education. The guy was a blacksmith, self-taught blacksmith.
Wow.
Could weld things together. Could weld things together.
Wow.
He built this machine. Listen to this. He built this machine. I'm telling you guys this, if you're watching. I'm trying to encourage you never to give up on your dreams, okay? And this is a black man in the deep, racist South. I got to say that.
Yeah.
All right. He was one of the first black men in the 50s to build his own house because he was a master builder. He had his own tobacco barn, his own farm. And he built this machine that could go in the ground. He welded every piece together and put all these pulleys and these other, you take engines from other parts of a car. And had this tall machine like 20 feet in the air. That thing would dig into the ground. It could find running water, man. He can go down in the ground like 120 feet. He could touch the ground and find out where the water was. Okay, so he was able to dig down and find that water and put a pump, and pull the water out. If you're in the country, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of people in the country they have well water. He was the architect of doing that in North Florida in the 50s. So he built his house. And guys, in the 50s, a lot of people didn't have running water. You didn't have
That's right.
You didn't have a toilet. How do I know this? Because on my dad's side, they had an old house where, you used the restroom and it was a bucket. You had to take it outside and dump it. But on my grandfather's side, on my mom's side, listen, this guy had a toilet, running water, could do all these things, right? Master builder, was a chef. I mean, you name it, he could do it. And what I'm saying is, he built like 5 or 10 properties, and he was a real estate investor with a second grade education. What are the odds of that? What I'm saying is,
my goodness.
Listen, and all of his sons, they respected him. My dad, which he was married to, my grandfather he had a daughter. She's still alive. She turned 70 today, which is my mother. My dad died 10 years ago, but my dad respected this man. You know what I mean? And so, I was born in New York, but when we came to Florida when I was 7, where and we lived in the house with this man. He had like 4 or 5 families he was taking care of. I mean, so what I'm saying is, never give up on your dreams. And he went against the grain. He went against the 95%. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm a businessman today. That's why I don't ever give up. I'm like, man, me and the wife, we don't even have kids. I'm going to give up? Not a chance. So guys, listen. Miss Jinean, she graced us with her presence today, and I just want to let you guys know she's such an inspiration to me. I hope she is to you, because I gave that whole spiel because I believe in what you're doing. I believe that you're passionate about it, and the only other passionate person I've seen like that. But Jinean, listen,
yes.
Again, we appreciate you coming on here.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I was going to send people directly to you, but I'm not going to do that. I want to, I have a team of screening where we screen folks before they come over. I want to make sure that they're a good candidate because you're a busy woman. I want to make sure we're effective and strategic.
Yeah,
okay?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. So any closing thoughts before we go?
Just remember that you trust yourself. And if you don't, get some help, find a mentor, talk about it, sleep on it, never make abrupt decisions, and embrace the journey, because life is a journey and it's an experiment too. You have to, as an entrepreneur or whatever that you do, just embrace the journey, because the journey is where the joy is. And just surround yourself with people that can lift you up. If they're not doing that, then get out of those relationships.
Wow. I didn't know you was a motivational speaker too. You'll have a lot more than just, an asset guardian. Wow, you have a lot of gifts. All right. So, man, you really graced us today. And I'm so inspired. And so I feel like I could just jump off a roof and fly, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just saying, I feel like I can take off now. I feel like I got what I need for today.
Good. That's all that matters.
Absolutely. So guys, as I always say, let me just say this. Again, I don't know what day we're coming back, but more than likely, it'll be closer to the end of the week or sometime next week. But I'm going to make an announcement on my Facebook page and my YouTube channel when we're going to bring her back. Yeah. But we want a hell of a lot more than a few people we have on here, okay? We probably have maybe 1,000 people on today. But there's a lot more people that need to hear what you have to say. So guys, as I always say, yes. I'll see you at the top. On the next video. Yes. And Miss Jinean, thank you for coming on. Peace and blessings.
You're very welcome.
And I'm
have a great
Bye-bye.
evening.
You got it. Bye.